Good. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of What's Happening in Travel. I am here with my buddy.
True.
And I am Kerwin, and I'm just laughing because just before we got on, I asked Kusho which episode this is. This is episode number 75, and we're recording on Thursday, March 25th, 2021. And before we jump right into it, Kusho, what do you have on your background this time?
I have a scene from the only airport I know where you can get this type of picture, San Francisco.
That's what I thought it was.
Two pictures on two aircraft on one shot. I wonder if there are other airports where you can get scenes like this, but I don't know of any. So,
multiple parallel runways. Yeah, this is probably the easiest place to see.
But all airports have parallel runways. It's just that this projects into the sea. I would expect from Haneda or from Honolulu or several Osaka, you would be able to get these, but you never see them.
Yeah.
You always see San Francisco.
I know where this is taken from. It's right by the other side across the bay where all the hotels are. There's a nice walk that you can see all the planes when they come over.
Pretty impressive telephoto, I think.
Yeah, good job. Where did you get this one? Can you remember?
I don't know. I just find them
randomly.
it's very freely available. All these San Francisco scenes.
If you grab one next time, if you can,
are you intrigued?
No, I think it would just be good to give the person who took the photo credit. Because he's a really good.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So we can just say, hey, this photo came from wherever.
Okay. Yeah. See, I don't keep track of all that.
Yeah, just give them a little credit because it's all good. Well, this photo I took in. I'll come back and get the year, but I took this in Haneda, in Itami. And this is, I'm going to move to the side a little bit. It's a 747-200 from ANA, and it's the one with the high density capacity.
SR, I think they called them, right?
Yep, that they used to have way back when.
Like 5,000 people on board.
Yep, I didn't fly in a 200. I actually flew in a 400 that they had, and it was very awesome. People came on and they sat down, and we went on our merry way. There was no, oh, let me do this. Oh, let me look around. No, people were very organized.
And not many people bought these huge onboard suitcases.
Yep, none of that.
Most of the overhead bins are empty.
Yeah, it's a credit to the Japanese people. They're very organized, and they're very, they get in, they sit down, let's go. There's no, let me go talk to my friend over here. It's like, no, they're very organized. So I think we have some stories about 747s and ANAs. I thought I'd throw that one in. All right, we're gonna jump right in. So
we are on a time constraint today.
Yeah. The first story we're going to talk about, though, is vaccinations are a thing, and I got my 2 vaccines, so I'm like, I don't care what anybody says, I'm protecting me. But as a result, a lot of people want to do a whole bunch of things that they were accustomed to doing, and I don't think we're ready yet. And so one of the things is 2 U.S. airlines have started to get back to normal. Who are they, Kusha? Well, somewhat normal.
Southwest and JetBlue. Yeah. I think this is providing a false sense of security, but
it is.
It seems those of us urging caution are in the small minority.
Because they're trying to, they've reinstated the old boarding processes, right?
Yes.
As the first step.
And also a lot of the others, like for instance, even United is bringing back onboard food items.
Yeah.
regular on board, where you can buy on board.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I guess they're desperate to go back to normal and bring in the cash. But I mean, we've gone through this for so long, and to stumble at this last step seems really short-sighted, but what do I know?
Yeah, because I was saying before that yeah, it's like running a race and you see the finish line, and you're like, oh, the finish line, and then you start doing stupid stuff, and you don't make it because you're like, oh, I'm there, but you're not there yet. You haven't crossed the finish line, and so
So,
I mean, clearly vaccinations are helping in recovery, but a lot of people are not vaccinating and they don't want to be vaccinated, and so
and they're resuming normal activities before they're fully immunized, which is
exactly.
typically 2 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks after you get your final shot of the vaccine.
Yep. And I was walking around the neighborhood yesterday, and after I was driving, and they had baseball, kids' little league baseball game going on. And as far as I could see, I didn't see anyone wearing a mask, and they were sitting right next to each other like it was normal. So I think people just don't realize that
Oh,
coronavirus
people
has,
realize they don't care
but they don't
because
care,
it's become politicized. It's
So it's like,
infuriating, but anyway.
but why can't we protect ourselves? I mean, we're not stupid. We know that there's a virus
Well,
out,
people are stupid, right?
right? Well, some
We've
people,
been
I
we've
guess.
been shown that over and over and over again.
And so, I mean, I'm still wearing a mask, and whenever I travel, I'm still cleaning stuff down and wearing a mask because you know what? We're supposed to do that anyway. I mean, these surfaces were nasty. Now, I hope
Yeah.
that these airlines that are trying to get back to normal are not going, well, this cleaning the airplane thing is costing me $1 million a month. I'm just gonna not do it, right? Because when you see
Very
things like,
quietly, they will
right, very
withdraw it.
quietly, and you're gonna start getting back on the planes and seeing, dirty seat backs and dirty tray tables and stuff like that. I don't think that's where we want to go. Um, and I
But
mean,
money talks.
yeah, we've been in the industry long enough. We know that the executives will say one thing on TV and they'll do something different in the background. That's just how corporate America is. We know that. And then, later they get yelled at because they screwed up. And we have many examples of that in aviation. So I guess I did see something cool though. The, I guess four of the former presidents and their wives did a PSA. I don't know if you've seen it,
Mm-hmm.
telling people that they should get
Or
vaccinated.
about the vaccine.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that's been a while, right?
yeah. No, no, no. This was
So,
just came out. It was with
oh
it's
yeah, okay,
yeah, so the presidents and their wives, and so they did that
okay,
one. Yeah, it was kind of cool how they did it. They even had Carter on there. I know he's
yeah.
ill. Yeah, but he was
Isn't
on.
he over 90? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, he's 90 something. So, I mean,
So,
you do what you want to do, but the information is out there. And if you want to get back to normalcy, there's certain things that we have to do. But we thought we'd address that at the beginning because aviation is a big thing, and aviation is one of the sectors that was affected the most. All right, we're going to fly across the Atlantic and we're going to Europe, and we're taking a U.S. carrier with us. What's the story, Kusho?
so this is a very interesting story. For those of the listeners who are not in the US and or Canada and or Mexico, um, North America is sort of like a unique um, system where regional flying is typically not done by the airline itself, but
Yeah,
it's farmed out to another airline group. For instance, in the US, Delta, um, American, and United, the three largest carriers by international ASMs and ASKs, they contract out their regional operations, which is their short haul flights, to individual air carriers, for instance, Mesa and SkyWest. And I don't think in any other part of the world it's as prevalent as it is here. So what it does is that it gives the bigger airlines a lot of cost flexibility. And it's also cheaper from an operational perspective because
Yeah.
everything is handled by the regional affiliate. Now, Europe has some of them. For instance, there's Air Nostrum, which operates the Iberia Express flights in Spain. And there's also CityJet, which is based in Dublin, that operates for SAS.
Right.
But it's really not widespread
Yeah.
practice.
Well,
So what Mesa has done is
Lufthansa
that,
CityLine as well.
right, but
Yeah.
Lufthansa CityLine is within the Lufthansa group. It's not contracted out to
Okay.
another carrier,
And how about the
official carrier, if
how
you
about the
will.
ones that Air France has? Because they have a number of them.
They've got CityJet as well, right?
Yeah, they have CityJet,
CityJet operates a few of them.
and
And
now they
then
have
there's
Hop.
the one with the X-Hop, but that's gone.
Hop is gone. Okay.
Hop is gone. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're right. It's
So,
not as popular in Europe as it is.
no. And there's a variety of reasons for that. For instance, there's a lot of low-cost competition for regional routes from Ryanair, EasyJet, Wizz. Then there's also a brilliant high-speed rail network, which offers huge competition to air travel. And there's also taxation, high taxation on air travel. But suffice it to say that Mesa, which is based in Phoenix in the US, has partnered with a London consultancy firm called Gramercy to start up operations in European regional markets using the CRJ 900, which is a very common aircraft in the US and also around the world. So what they've applied for the European Air Operator Certificate to start services. And they're currently looking for opportunities. And the reason they want to do this at this stage is because demand for air travel is not expected to get back to 100% of normal, whatever that means, for another several years. And in between, for instance, Airbus 320 and Boeing 737 capacities may be too high for a lot of routes in Europe, for instance. And they think that airlines will have a need to operate smaller aircraft, even though they don't have those types of planes in their fleets. So that's where Mesa comes into play. They can contract out these regional flights to Mesa, and Mesa makes money as well. And another reason they used as evidence was the head of KLM City Hopper, who recently announced that City Hopper aircraft would be taking over more traditional mainline 737 routes for KLM in Europe for at least 2021 and some or all of 2022. So it'll be interesting to see if this experiment works and if it takes hold. So stay tuned.
Okay, that makes sense.
But I just thought it was a very interesting concept of the US trying to export, its means of doing things
Yeah.
here. I think
No,
it's been very successful over here.
yeah, I mean,
But there are a lot of hurdles to cross in Europe that we don't have here.
and
So,
Mesa is
and
not,
it's led by a guy, sorry, just one before I forget, it's led by a guy called Tony Davis. So he's an airline guy. He was CEO of Singapore-based Tiger before it was acquired by Scoot in 2017. So he clearly knows what he's doing. So,
but Mesa is not new to this, right?
no, it's not.
They
Not
do
at
this
all.
in is it Guam? I'm trying to think of
Is
another.
it Guam?
Yeah, I think they operate those the ATRs out in Guam. the ones that there's Guam and Saipan and Tinian and Rotor and all those. I think they're the ones that operate those.
Okay.
Um, and they've done. Is it? Oh, that might be SkyWest. I'm thinking of one that does. They do a lot of the essential air service routes here in the U.S. So
I think
yeah,
it's
good
divided
for them.
equally
If they,
among the others.
yeah, if they can get that to work in Europe, then that makes sense. Because I'm just trying
Yeah.
to think of all the and Europe operates a lot of CRJs and those the Embraers. So yeah, good deal. You gotta
So,
branch out. You gotta find the money somewhere else, right?
yep.
Um, all right, good deal. So we are gonna stay the on the continent. What is up with these people with so much money? If somebody can call in and say, why is it that all these people with so much money just throws it at things that we already know are not working? I mean, it's your money. You can do whatever you want with it. I get it. But please stop wasting it on things. I'm saying that because there's another transatlantic low-cost airline from Norway.
Well, it's Norwegian 1.5
And so if
because
1.0 didn't work properly, why do you think 1.5 is going to work when you're in the same situation? Sorry.
well, it all depends on three people. Ironically, all of them are named Bjorn. So I'm not going to stereotype, but I find it really ironic
No,
that
don't
all these
stereotype.
three people, unrelated.
It's like Michael Kusho. It's
Yes, I
like
know.
the popular name, right?
Oh. So Bjorn Kjos, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, KJOS, was CEO of Norwegian.
I hope he comes on
And
the show and we can talk to him.
yes, and in 2017, he was in charge when he pioneered low-cost transatlantic 787 service. And also, he was also when at the head of Norwegian when they started in 2017, sorry, with Edinburgh to Stewart in New York State, 738 service. So no surprise that with the pandemic, it failed. And Norwegian has had to retrench back to mostly a domestic airline in Norway, and they had to ground all their 787s. Well, Bjorn Kjos resigned from Norwegian in 2019, and last week, or a couple of weeks ago actually, he announced that he was still convinced that low-cost transatlantic flights were going to be a profitable thing, and he announced Norse Atlantic Airways. The first thing I thought of is that this is going to be confusing with Atlantic Airways, which is the Faroe Islands based airline. But they want to start in the fourth quarter of 2021 using some of the Norwegian 787s that have been grounded, and there's no buyers for them or no
Oh,
takers for them.
surprise, surprise.
Yes. So there's no livery as yet. They have a website and they want to start operating to New York. No airport decided yet. Los Angeles, Miami, Paris, and London, and Oslo, of course. So he's got two other partners, another one from Norwegian, ex-Norwegian colleague, also called Bjorn, and a third one from the staffing company called OSM Aviation that was used by Norwegian for crew scheduling and all that, also named Bjorn. So they are very, very bullish on this new airline, but it's to be seen whether it takes off and they get all the funding that they need. So we will see what happens. But I just thought it was interesting. I wanted to point this out because with JetBlue also starting, and now this North Atlantic on the cards,
Yeah, it's just ridiculous.
market is so saturated.
It's super saturated, and by time 2021 goes, and plus, they're not going to get the traffic that they're looking for because a lot of Europe is still closed unless you're from there.
Yes.
And I don't see
But
that.
I'm guessing
Huh?
things opening up. But given
Yeah.
the fiasco that has been the vaccine rollout in Europe,
Yeah.
I don't know how that's going to go.
Yep. I don't see that opening
I
up.
see this being delayed.
I mean, if they can do 2022, then that makes more sense because we still like a lot of countries don't have vaccination, right? I think COVAX is doing, I think the thing they're doing is between 2.2% and 2.9% of the
Yeah,
population.
but see, most of Europe is not COVAX.
Right. They're
It's
not
EU.
COVAX, but people come from other countries into Europe.
Yes.
And it's the same thing with the United States, where people are letting their guard down and go, oh, I'm vaccinated. When Brazil is having trouble and we have daily flights from the US to Brazil. So when people are just not thinking, they think everything is okay, but you don't know where people are traveling. People are still traveling because you can still travel for work and stuff like that. And people are still going to visit their family despite the fact that you shouldn't. And I get it, it's been a year, people are over it. I mean, I'm tired of it too. But yeah. But who knows? I don't have a lot of money, so I'm not making these decisions that these people are making. Like really, another transatlantic airline. We just canned Norwegian, one that's based in Norway, and it's gonna happen to the U.S. carriers are just gonna put like. Because they have so many metal just sitting around. You're like, oh, okay, great. Then we'll just run 3 777s from LAX to wherever they're going across the pond. Yeah, it's just silly. I think they should take their money and do something else rather than because the fact that he was heading the company and then he left, formed another company. So it's like, okay.
It's like David Neeleman, right?
Yes.
Only David Neeleman was successful.
Yep. It's
He's
like
a JetBlue founder.
And even him, he wants to start Breeze Airway. It's like
well, he's starting, right? They've got
he's starting
ALC.
Just what we need, another airline. Although I don't like how he's picking his flight attendants. That's a little weird. But
it's different.
Weird. But it's
cheap.
It's cheap, right? Exactly. And that's the thing, right? So you're taking it. I don't like when companies take advantage of people so they make a profit, right? Which happens all the time. And when they've
been doing that for generations.
Blatantly, and we like you make it
for generations. Where have you been?
True, but don't make it look like you're doing something good when we know you're doing it underhanded. That is rude.
But it's been going on for generations.
Doesn't mean it's right, bro.
I'm surprised I'm the one telling you this.
I know, but it doesn't mean it's right though. It's just so I've been.
Why do you think this? Of course not. Why is there so much anger in the population? Because latent, inherent anger.
It is, and you're gonna get people who are
because they're being.
So it's irritating. Let's go to Africa. I had enough of Europe. African aviation, right? You don't really hear much about African aviation because primarily there is Egypt Air, Ethiopian, South African, although is South African still there?
Some shred of it.
Shred of it, right? And there's Kenya Airways and Royal Air Morocco. Those are the big ones, right?
And Ethiopian, right? Don't forget.
And yeah, I think I mentioned Ethiopian and Ethiopian. The rest of them are really small. Aviation Africa is
very fragmented and very disjointed.
And when you find the there's Rwanda Air. When you find the airlines,
they're tiny.
between these smaller cities, and it's really, really expensive.
Mm.
Yeah, and I guess yeah, you can say come here, but come here is not international, i.e., outside of Africa. They're more of the
No,
Africa.
they're going to like Botswana and
Yeah, but that's within
what's on the
Africa.
Namibia.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah, they're within
right,
Africa. I was thinking, yeah, the ones that actually go out.
right.
So anyway, um, but for some reason they have a lot of money because they have some really nice planes. So Ethiopian is one of those airlines that's doing really well. And what are they? What are
They've
they?
always been very, very efficient. So here's another thing. We've gone on and on about vaccine passports.
Yeah.
And now there's Ethiopian is now trialing an African Union vaccine passport. Now, let me back up a little bit. So the African Union is sort of like the European Union, except it's not as formalized. And Africa has a lot of the problems that Europe does not have because, as I said, the AU is not a formalized agreement. Like they don't, all 54 countries on the continent really don't do things in unison or any measure of unison because most of the countries in Africa have not been able to pay their dues to the African Union.
Oh.
So it was launched in 2001 in Addis Ababa as a means to integrate the political and economic situations of all the African countries to further advance peace and prosperity. But unfortunately, it has not proven to work out that way. Yes, they provide troops to different countries across the region, but it's really very, very fragmented and has had very, very limited success. Primarily because it's very difficult to provide accurate health information. As you said, there are lots of costs and they're very, very high to provide medical help to people. And there's also a lot of inconvenience in cross-border control because they really don't have the infrastructure in place. There's almost no cohesive data for health policy or any sort of biosecurity planning. So what Ethiopian has done is, and again, I find this very questionable because this article on the Ethiopian Airlines Media Center site didn't give a lot of useful information. Like one of the means they want to try and help the situation is to try and eliminate fraudulent documentation of vaccine certification. But they didn't specify how they were going to do that. So they were going to try and provide this continent-wide receptacle, if you will, for all travelers' documentation, health-related documentations to be provided and then shared among all the different carriers and the governments in the region. Now, I'm guessing here, but I'm pretty sure that the Africans, actually the rest of the world, is not that concerned about sharing their information with governments and other organizations. But I'm going out on a limb by saying that. I know. But I just thought this was at least what seems to me to be questionable. I'm not sure how useful this would be. I mean, it sounds great on paper, but I don't know how practical this is going to work out. But it's got a great premise, and I hope it succeeds, but I don't hold out a great hope for it. So
Yeah. Um,
it's called the African Union Trusted Travel Pass.
Now, why did they think they needed to do a separate one for the African Union?
Because that was the only means they had to connect all of Africa,
Hmm.
to act as sort of one body.
Yeah.
And that's really not happening because it's such a fragmented union,
Yeah,
if you can even call it that. But it's the best thing they have.
it is. Everybody wants to do their own thing. I mean, I'm glad that at least, Ethiopian is saying, look, we're the stronger airline, because they're probably the strongest airline in Africa.
Probably one of the strongest, yeah. And the
So,
AU was formed in Addis Ababa.
yeah. And they're probably just pulling the other ones, uh,
Yeah. Yep.
It's like, we're doing this. So,
I mean, it makes sense, right? It makes sense.
it makes sense that they
But
do
logistically,
something, but I don't know if, well, so you know what? So here's what's interesting, right? Everybody's making a big fuss about COVID, which because it's huge and it makes sense. But in terms of, I shouldn't say about COVID, I mean COVID vaccines. But vaccines are not a new thing, and
and they're not
Africa
yeah.
is one of the places where some of the countries you need a vaccine. So this is something that they should have done a long time ago, because you already
After
have that.
Ebola.
Yes, you already have that issue. And if I want to go to Ghana, I need a yellow fever shot. And if I don't have one when I get in, they have a needle ready for me as soon as I walk in. And I'm not.
Oh, do they really?
Yes, because they have a lady there, and well, it was a lady at the time, and the guy goes, "Where's your card?" And I showed him my card, and he says, "Go." And she has the needle ready. If you don't have one, you get one. You can't. And of course, those shots, I think they take like 2 weeks. So even if you get when you come in, you need to be careful for the next 2 weeks before it takes effect. So this is something that's been happening for a while, but everybody has been ignoring it, right? And normally it takes pandemics for people to go, I think we should do something right now. But
how are they going to eliminate fraud?
That's always a tough
travel
because
insists they will be able to do it, but they don't specify how.
Yes.
I guess if you tell people, they will find ways to cheat around it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Somebody did I saw a story. Why can't I find it now? As you brought that up, and it was this person said they went to, I can't find it now, but they went to, I think it was Tanzania, and because they went to Zanzibar, and you
remember the president was telling them to pray against COVID.
Right, exactly.
That was his solution.
That's the country. And so they wanted to get back to the US, they need the 72-hour COVID test. Well, they don't have the infrastructure to even provide proper tests to their own citizens. And so they're having issues in providing these tests within 72 hours. And so what the person was suggesting was, what happened is that they actually do it like because you can't get it in 72 hours, you have to take it like 5 days earlier. And then they're changing the dates. Because they don't have
I'm shocked.
I'm right, but they don't have any other way, right? And so, and this is the kind of thing that you want to support tourism, but the countries don't have the infrastructure. They didn't have the infrastructure before, and now they don't have the infrastructure. It's worse because they don't have the money to do
money. Exactly.
And so, and all the tourists are like, "Oh, I need to travel." Yeah, but the place you're going to can't accommodate you, because they can't help their own citizens. And so, and I think that's what a lot of people are getting, that we need to, and I don't know what the answer is, Kushal. I just don't know what the answer is, but people need to figure out.
You're right.
And the funny thing is that we're wasting vaccines here in the US, because they open the vial and they don't have anybody.
That was expected.
So
that was expected.
It's irritating. Am I gonna have a heart attack before I finish this episode? All right, let's move to the next story. All right, we're off the continent. Well, kind of. Yeah, we're off the continent. Let's go to India. So SpiceJet, we talked about them before. What are they doing in terms of IFE?
Yeah. So let me ask you this: on an airline's IFE, the in-flight entertainment on the app, have you ever heard of being able to actually buy something on an airline's app? Because I haven't, and that's why I brought up this topic. This was in An
from the
article
seat back,
called
which is a
Teeth
part of
Free.
the from the seat
Yes,
back, which is a part of the IFE,
right.
but not the act.
Not food, not onboard food.
Yeah, no, 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 not food. You can do duty free and all that stuff from the Air New Zealand. You can buy everything from the IFE, but it's not on an app. It's on the
Okay, yeah, but it's all aviation related. But
yeah.
this is something new that, which is why I mentioned it here. So SpiceJet has a newly launched app called Spice Screen. So
How
what
original.
it has, well, it's you can order. This is a low cost carrier in India.
Yeah.
You can order all your meals from there. You can watch all your TV and movies and whatever. But you can also book a hotel room. And that's the part I found to be very unique. So Fern Hotels, this is after the Leaf, is an India-based chain of, as they call themselves, environmentally sensitive hotels with 82 properties in 67 locations. And they have about 5,000 rooms, a little less than that. But they are
Environmentally
offering
sensitive.
um, hotel rooms at a 20% discount compared to other online portals. Like, for instance, they specified brand.com, because generally you assume online portals are typically the cheapest way to book a hotel. So they're offering this 20% off the rate, and also a 20% discount on all food, beverages, and room upgrades, and a late checkout at 4 p.m. if you book from the Spice Screen IFE app. It's going to be trialed for 3 months on 320 flights of SpiceJet on 70 routes. And I just thought that this was a unique way to try and do this.
Yeah.
And again, I hope they follow up and to gauge the success of this. But as I said, I haven't heard of any other airline doing this. So hats off to SpiceJet for trying.
Yeah, I guess it makes
So
sense because they just well, I mean, I'm trying to think of what United does. I think
because
United,
see, I can see the younger generation doing this, booking a
yeah,
hotel at the last minute from on board. But I don't see the
um,
older people
yeah,
being comfortable enough to do this. But I could be wrong.
yeah, but that's enough. That's enough revenue for them to do it. It's like, and I keep going back to the vaccines. What some of the countries have done is they want people over 75 to take the vaccine, right? But everything is online, and they're sending text message to you when you go online. And I'm like, they're over 75. This is not how you do it, right? They do have a phone, but they also have the online thing, and I get it. But it's just so. It's these people who are 20s in their 20s, and they're designing something for somebody who's 75 and over, and they're just not thinking
Yeah,
because to them, all they know is a phone.
is online.
I
Yep.
know, but when you're over 75, that's not what you do.
But then shouldn't someone be checking them? Apparently not.
No, because for the one that I called, when I told her about it, I said, and I gave it, she goes, "Oh yeah." They didn't even think about that. So it's yeah. So unless you have younger children to help you, but some people over 75 don't have any children,
Don't have it. Yeah.
right? They don't have any family members to help them. They're on their own. And so they need to think about that when you're trying to get a certain audience, what you need to do. But in their case, they're not targeting people who are 7. They're targeting the little kids. I call them little kids because I'm over 50.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all they're targeting,
The
right?
20s and 30 types. Yeah.
Yeah. But
Yep.
I think United also does that because they allow you to book
Can you book a hotel?
yeah,
Okay.
you can book Marriott. Problem with when you book Marriott though is that if you're
But can you
flying,
do it on board the
yeah,
aircraft?
well, if you're
Okay.
flying, you try to book Marriott. They had changed to because they
Okay.
merged, right, and it became one group. And if you try to book
Yeah.
Sheraton hotel, you couldn't get the Sheraton because all of the Marriott, all of the Marriott URL is
Okay.
recognized. I think they fixed that now. But yeah, I think on the United app you can book it
Okay.
on on the phone on the app because actually they have a little banner that says Marriott or something.
Okay.
That's their
Okay.
main hotel chain. It's funny.
So maybe that's where SpiceJet got their inspiration.
But no, that's good. I mean, it makes sense. It definitely makes sense to do that. And yeah, I totally get where they're coming from. All right, good deal.
So what's the next topic?
I somehow just lost my email with the topics. Okay. The next one is China Airlines. So we're going to Asia. God, we're going all around. We went all around the globe. So China Airlines joined the list of carriers retiring their passenger 744s.
Yes, on the 20th of March, they
Uh,
flew their final passenger 747.
yeah.
Now,
And
this
that's
was
their
an
iconic
aircraft.
plane.
Yes, this was the last one they received from Boeing in 2005. So it's
Yeah.
really only a 15, 16-year-old aircraft. It's a shame that they retired it, but they operated the 747 since 1975. In fact, they took two ex-Delta 100s to
Oh,
start their operations.
yeah.
And so what they did is that they flew a 5-hour scenic flight from Taipei to Japan at the usual 33,000 feet, 10,000 meters, as they said. And then they descended to half that altitude as they circled Mount Fuji.
Nice.
So around Tokyo, which I thought was a great idea.
Yeah.
And then they came back to Taipei. They left a little after noon and they came back to Taipei a little after 5 p.m., 5:15 p.m. So it was about a 5-hour flight. They had 375 passengers aboard. And can you guess the load factor on this flight?
That's probably about 80%.
Try 100.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So no surprise here.
Yeah.
Uh,
But Taiwan has gotten it covered, right?
yes, Taiwan has been very, very, in fact, they've been the leaders. They started this whole flights to nowhere thing.
Yeah.
So it was the flagship aircraft for China Airlines.
Mm-hmm.
But they've taken it off these high-profile routes and they've put it more on high-density regional Asian routes. So, but as of now, no more passenger 747s for China Airlines.
Yeah, I think my only China Airlines flight was on the 747. I think it was
Okay.
I think it was LA Taipei. Yeah, it was interesting. I was gonna show a picture of a ANA Airbus A320.
Okay.
Because when you think about ANA, when you think about all the Japanese airlines, you don't think that they have a Airbus 320 or a 737. You always think the 747s, the 777s, the 787s, because that's all you see on this side of the world. So yeah, when I flew China Airlines, was it really? Yeah, I think it was.
And they still haven't announced their new name. So
they were there. Aviation can't leave politics, right? It just can't.
But I'm really surprised China has put up with this because normally China erupts at any sort of reference to Taiwan. And for Taiwan to call its flag carrier China Airlines, I would expect Beijing, China to be
not happy about it. Well,
furious.
Probably
they are. But
yeah, it came up. It's been a long time. I mean,
yeah,
I don't know how
a
long
long time.
it is, but
a very long time. And only this year, and maybe late last year, that moves have been afoot to change the name because it was facing a lot of discrimination.
Yes.
After the COVID thing.
Yeah, which is
anything associated with China.
Yep.
This is unfair, but there you have it.
Our world. Well, sad to see the 747 go. Although someone sent me a video of there is a 747 restaurant. I guess it was an ex-Thai 747. It's just outside of Bangkok.
Oh, is that? Okay,
Yeah,
there's that hotel outside Stockholm, right? Stockholm Airport.
yes, there's a hotel outside Stockholm. It's actually at the airport, and I didn't stay there. I went over and looked at it, but I stayed at the Radisson because I wanted points.
Okay.
It is this place
And
that
that aircraft hotel is expensive.
yes, it
It's
is
not
actually
cheap.
a hostel. Well, it's Stockholm. It's
Yeah.
everything's expensive. One of the
Yeah.
most expensive places I've visited, apart from Oslo, Norway. All right, we have one more story here. So let's go to that one. I have an ANA picture, so this is in homage to this story. And what are they doing that's similar to what Singapore Airlines is doing?
So, unbeknownst to me, on the 11th of December in 2020, ANA started selling its in-flight meals to customers. Anyone.
Gross, gross.
Why?
Because it's ANA. It's not like, you know, an American carrier. Anyway,
Uh,
just
the
takes all the glamour away from the Asian airlines.
Why? They're selling their onboard meals. Sorry, not the IFA meal. What did I say?
You said onboard meals.
The onboard meals, yes.
Yeah.
So, so they opened sales to the public after customer requests, apparently. And as of March 12th, they had sold $1.8 million US dollars worth of meals.
Oh, so
They sold
hold on, Krishna.
264,000 of them.
Hang on. So this is they're not selling them to their customers on board. They're just selling them outside. Which
Yes,
right.
yes.
Oh,
Did
okay.
I not say that?
I misunderstood what you said. When you
Yes.
said they started selling their onboard meal,
Okay.
I didn't know you meant they're selling them to people. I'm still thinking in flight mode that they're flying and you're buying a meal on board, but I get you. Sorry. My misunderstanding.
This is not unique because they're just following a long list of Asian airlines and European airlines who have done this. For instance, Thai, AirAsia, Finnair, Singapore Airlines. All of these have Cathay Pacific.
Yeah.
They've had these sales to the public. And the airline kitchen typically sells about 30,000 meals a day. But with the COVID pandemic, the demand has dropped by about 90%.
Hmm.
So what they do is that they sell these meals as a set of 12 meals with a price tag of about 9,000 yen, which is about $83. So this works out to about $7 US per meal. You can only buy them as a pack of 12. And each of these packages contains 3 types of frozen entrees. For instance, some of the choices they offered were crispy fried chicken with a sweet and spicy sauce. That sounds great. Seafood saffron rice with a demi-glace sauce, and hamburger steak, which was apparently their most popular. Because they put these individual features out occasionally, and they typically sell out within 45 minutes of being posted for sale.
Oh, wow.
Except for this hamburger steak that sold out in 5 minutes.
How do you buy them?
They're ready to, let me get to that.
Okay.
So they're ready to eat after heating up in a microwave, and then taking a page there out of Singapore Airlines playbook. They are now offering their first and business class silverware, their cutlery, as an accompaniment to enhance the mood of air travel at home, as they put it. If you want, you can buy a brand new serving cart from ANA at the cool price of 1,000 US dollars, which is about 115,000 Japanese yen. And they are now organizing a dinner event a la Singapore Airlines on a 777 at Haneda on March 31st. You will be seated in the business and first class cabins only to socially distance. And the prices are for the meals in business class. Can you guess how much they are in US dollars for a full meal on an
About
ANA 777?
about 450.
That's first class. $500 for first class, 270 for business class, and sold out. Barely after they announced it, it was sold out. There's a lot of rich aviation enthusiasts in the world, and why am I not one of them?
Well,
So it's not really very surprising because the company is number 3 on the Skytrax World Airline Awards in 2019.
hey. Well, that's why when you said they were selling meals, I was like, what? So, but I get the clarification. My mistake.
So
Okay, that's not bad. I mean, and how do you buy these? Is it from their website?
that was my thing. So I went to the ANA website,
Uh-huh.
try as I might with the search function, could not find it. So
Did you
I
go?
don't know if it's only a Japan thing.
Yeah, well,
Um,
nobody can go to Japan, so it's probably just in Japanese.
right.
Did you go to the .co.jp site?
No, but that's going to be in Japanese, right?
Yeah, but they'll have pictures and
So
they do have some of the words. I'm pretty sure that's where
no,
it is.
but
Because it's not
yeah,
they
there was not even in the search function, as I said.
you wouldn't find it there either. So the Japan Airlines are quite good about that. When you go to if you go to their English version of the website, it's completely
Because
different.
they have that rail cafe in the Japan Airlines where you can buy Japan Airlines onboard food in Singapore and Taipei, I believe.
Yeah. So yeah, if you
So
go to I don't read Japanese, but I'm pretty sure they're talking about it on the Japanese side of the site rather than
possibly.
because right
So,
now
and
it's
this was in Forbes magazine, by the way.
yeah, cool.
It's a big deal.
And yeah, I don't know. I was trying to see if I can tell from the picture that they're showing what it is that they have, but you would have to go to the Japanese version of the site, and they probably have that. I was just
So
trying to look through here to see if I saw anything, but no. And sometimes they just have special links.
nope. On ana.com, there's nothing.
No, you have to go to .co.jp.
Yeah.
And then
So
maybe they'll have something there. And Google does do the translations, so sometimes you can. And probably what they did was just did a special website for it.
yeah, but I imagined it would be right up front if they want to really market this thing.
No, not if they're just marketing it to a spit. Well,
To Japan, yeah. In Japan, yeah.
Obviously it's there because they're sold out. So,
Yeah.
so yeah, I was just trying to look through here if I seen it, but yeah,
But $550 for a first class meal on airline in an airline seat is a lot of money.
no, that's not much, Krisha. Because here's the thing, right? There's a lot of rich people in every country, and
Yeah.
they're already buying those first class tickets. So this is cheap. This is like, oh, okay, I just want to go with me and I want to get back. I haven't spent any money on you for the year. I would have spent $10,000 already.
Yeah.
So spending only $500 is nothing. Plus it's the experience, somebody who's never
It's
flown
experience, yeah.
somebody who's never flown in first class, $500 is a really good deal. Just to sit in the seat and
Who are these people?
there's lots of them. You see them every
But
day.
I
Millionaires
don't.
don't walk away and go, I'm a millionaire.
Yeah, I know.
They're just millionaires and you don't know it.
This is true.
But yeah, no, I mean, it's, look, if you have the money, why not spend it? We're all gonna die. We die and leave it here anyway. So we might as well spend it. Or
okay,
yeah.
we're approaching your time deadline. Do we have
Yeah.
any more topics?
So no, we have some more, but we'll do them in another show. But we've covered airlines. Sorry, so that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, we can call this one a wrap. So that's it for
All right.
this episode, which is episode 75. And please remember to go to passrider.com/WHIT. And I did get a comment from someone, but maybe we should do it in the next episode. I don't think it's too long. Yes, in one episode we talked about in-flight magazines
Hmm.
and how they're going electronic.
Mhm.
And they comment, partly was episode 69.
Fairly recent.
Huh?
Huh. That's fairly recent, right?
Yeah.
But anyway,
And
go
so
ahead.
he says he's all for the magazines going digital.
Huh.
And he says that why waste all that paper on a product that fewer and fewer people actually read? Why commit so much fuel burn to carrying physical copies of something that can easily go digital? Also, in a COVID world, I don't want to touch anything that previous passengers may have touched. In theory, the crews will wipe down the seats and trays, but will they really
Yes.
disinfect page 35 of the in-flight magazine? The answer is no. Which creates another problem, right? Because the magazine is sitting there, somebody touches them, put it back, and you don't clean behind where the magazine is. So it's
Yep.
like, ew. Yeah, when you travel in a plane, either wear gloves or don't touch anything. FYI.
And we did this for how long before realizing we were so finicky?
Me? I've
No,
always
we
like
as a
that.
population.
Well, it's because Kusha, I've seen nasty people when I travel. Like if I walk into the
Of course, of course. Who hasn't?
right, what you call that buffet thing, and I see like when the parents tell little Johnny, "Oh, go get yourself some food," and the kid go, "Oh, I don't want that," and they put it right back. I'm like,
Yep.
so it's like no. So which is why I like to take early morning flights because I'm the first one who gets to the buffet, and I watch them put it up. I don't want to get sick, Kusha. Yeah, when you fly often,
So
you know what I mean. So he said,
yes,
FYI,
I
I
do.
always leaf through those magazines when I fly to kill some time. But in all honesty, I've also brought several much more interesting magazines on my own. Plus a
But they
book.
have good articles. I'm sorry. They really
Yeah,
do.
I always go through them, right? But
Yep.
I hear what he's saying about touching these magazines. I was like, "Don't touch." I'm wearing a
Yeah.
glove, for sure. So he says, plus a book that I can / will read during the flight. If there is no in-flight mag, I'm still covered. If it's available digitally, I probably still read it. Oh, and modern people who read Braille have apps on their phones that can convert text to
Hmm.
audio. So that's good. Yeah.
So
So there we go. So don't forget, send us your comments because when we get them, we will read them, and it keeps us grounded. Because sometimes we say stuff when we get really excited, especially me. Kusha, it takes a little bit to get Kusha excited. Just talk about the environment and he'll go off. And for me, just talking about replacing people and I'll go off. But that's a wrap for this episode. We're on Spotify and we are on Amazon Music. And what else are we on? We're on anywhere you listen to a podcast, you can find us. Search for What's Happening Travel or search for our names. Email feedback@passrider.com and passrider.com/WHIT. So that's it. All right. I'm
thank you
Kurt
for listening.
with my buddy.
Talk to you next time. Khushro.
All right. And yeah, we're out.